our next international keynote and probably the tallest person in the room. He is Mr. Omnichannel, founder and boldrethink360.com and former global strategic advisor for digital customer experience store IKEA. Please welcome Mr. Loek Berendsen on transforming retail with Omnichannel. Come on up, Mr. Loek.
It's still good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'll start talking. It's all about the inspiration today. It's practical. It's what you can apply in your retail marketing business. It's very broad, so I hope you feel inspired and that it has some tangible elements for you to work with. Before I start my presentation, I would also have a small round of applause for the team who's working here since last night, all night long. They have done amazing work and they made this possible and everything looks absolutely perfect. Okay, let's start. Mastering Omnichannel. For me, Omnichannel is everything around experience. Experience for your customers, experience for your clients, no matter whether you're in a B2C or B2B market. It's not about your business, it's about those who are shopping with you, who are engaging with your brand, and who you are offering your services to. It's working. And it's all about the omnichannel magic, and it's about mastering the experience centricity. And experience centricity is everything around having the customer on top of your mind at every decision, every step you're taking, every investment you're making within your business. It shouldn't be about making more revenue. Yes, we do want to make more revenue. However, it's about your customer. It's not about cost savings. Of course, you want to have a lean organization, optimize your processes and everything, but it's about your customer. And that's where the experience-centric happiness should be coming from. Focus on your customer first. And if we talk about omnichannel centricity, 6 out of the 10 customers involved in a loyalty program, they have more positive experiences with these type of omnichannel experiences. So if you're creating a loyalty program, if your customers are shopping with you, maybe in an app or in the store, it doesn't matter, online, offline. If you start engaging with them through a loyalty program, you create more positive interactions. And actually, because of this, they believe their connection with you as a brand transcends the transaction. And what I mean by this is that they feel loyal to you. They see an added value in your proposition, in your brand, in the engagement you're building with your customers. It's not about them buying the services. It's about you being there for them whenever it's needed to inspire them with a new product, with a new service, or even if it's not sales related at all. That's what they're looking for. If they think about your brand, they will chat about it in a positive way and recommend it to other people in their environment. And the loyalty in a connected world, it's about customers and an emotional relationship with the brand, which actually creates up to 306% higher lifetime value. Research has been done. It's about the customers who retain with you, so they are happy customers, they retain with you, but they continue shopping with you. They continue to spending their money with you as a brand, as a retailer. If you're setting up a loyalty program, that feeling gets even stronger. And before and after the implementation of a loyalty program, it creates a really strong boost for your brand, for the sales, for the revenue, because they continue to return to your store, to your website, everywhere. And actually, 80% of those customers, they also express like, hey, if you create personalized offers, I'm even more intended to keep shopping with you, spend more money. And it's like me buying this jacket. It means you shouldn't start emailing me about other jackets next week. That's what's usually happening. It's about the retailer, the brand, the fashion brand telling me, hey, look, you should look into these pants because they fit really well with the jacket. That's what the personalized offering is all about. So that also means that you need to create an omnichannel environment, understanding all the items, all the products that the customer has bought with you, or maybe even searched in your app, on the website, etc. And in retail, there is always the perfect storm, because there's always opportunity, there's always something happening, and we all in this room know if you don't continue to change and evolve as a brand, as a retailer, as an e-commerce website, you're one step behind on your competitors, on other brands. And we've seen it also in Europe and in the US during COVID. We've seen it here. It was a reason to change, to become more omnichannel. Stores were closed, boost the website. We've seen it during the e-commerce bubble happening the early 2000s. We had a small depression, then you see the same trends happening. So there's always reason to change and evolve, and that is what keeps us awake in good ways, and of course not so good ways within retail. Quickly about me, I've been helping brands and retailers and telecommunication companies and other companies in their omnichannel transformation. Because during this presentation, I'll explain more about omnichannel, what it is, what is the approach. But it's also very much about the customer and how do you work together, how do you transform as a business, because you need to reorganize yourself as a business to become omnichannel minded. Many leadership teams, if they they think it's a new software package, it's a new process, or maybe it's having a website and a store. But omnichannel is much, much more. It's embedded in everything that you should do as a retailer, as an e-commerce brand. And there are opportunities everywhere if you start having that mindset of omnichannel. And with the Gen Z generation, research shown within Europe that 73% of those consumers in the Generation Z segment, they actually are willing to pay a 10% more for sustainable products. So if the products are more sustainable for the environment, and if the brand is actively communicating about this, they are willing to pay more. And the reason for this is the younger generations, they see more and more the consequences of the actions that they're taking and how it will impact the world they're living in. And they need to live in this world for another 60 years, 50 years, I don't know. And therefore, they're more inclined to spend more on the sustainable products. Another part is with this generation is that they actually shop both online and offline in a hybrid version. Maybe they walk into your store, they feel inspired, they see the products, they see the fabric, and then they realize they actually want to buy it, maybe not immediately, maybe a week later, but then they start shopping online, searching for the same product and actually making that purchase. The other way around is they start browsing online. They're not sure if they need it, if they want it, if it's what they're looking for. They walk into your store, they realize, yes, it is what I want, and they actually make that purchase. Omnichannel is also about understanding all these touch points. It's not only creating the touch points, it's also understanding them and having the data, analyzing the data, seeing the behavior of your customers. And this whole context, the earlier mentioned loyalty program helps you. Because if they're logged on the website and you can see their browsing behavior, do the analysis, and then actually see that they're actually converting in a store, that they're actually making a purchase in a store, you can see the end-to-end trend online and offline. And there's a bit reality if you start searching for sustainability in the dictionary, because there are two outcomes. The first one is the ability to be... Stop. Sorry. The first one is the ability to be maintained at a certain level from an economic point of view. Yeah. Technology. You love it or you hate it. There it is. And why I'm showing this picture is clearly a good sales has been made here. What you see in the box is a screen wiper for a car. So if you talk to the younger generation, they don't feel that this is sustainable. It was a huge box and it was shipped to a home address, but it contains a lot of air. And here I mentioned 40%. Research in the US and in Europe has shown that 40% of air is part of the boxes that are being shipped for e-commerce orders. Imagine that you have half of an empty van driving around. You wouldn't do that. So then the question is, why are the boxes not fully loaded? Because it generates capacity if you do proper packaging. So this is not a sustainable part of what Generation Z is looking for. This is sometimes the reality because companies want to make a profit. This is what the Generation Z is desiring. Understanding that your products and your brand is taking everything into account to make sure that you're not destroying this world too much, that you're taking good actions to use natural resources in a proper way, not wasting anything around this topic, and having good investments. That's what they're looking for. It's also about how you communicate about this. I've seen tools and solutions where while you're shopping on a website, you actually see the CO2 emission impact of your delivery, of the delivery options you have available and you are willing to choose. Or even about the product itself, whether or not a product is more or less sustainable. This is a huge trend in Europe now, and everything is being measured and looked into because people want to understand, I make a choice, I make a purchase, how do I impact this world based on my behavior? And if you deep dive into this part, there are some painful footprints because research in Europe has been done on the impact of your shopping behavior. And if you go online and buy a product of 400 grams, which is less than half a liter of water, the impact is that you're almost have a ton of CO2 emissions to obtain that product. So I'm not talking about the production, I'm talking about realizing I need this product, I'm going to buy it. That's the process. The process is almost a ton of CO2 emissions. If you go to a store, same product, it's almost 4 tons of CO2 emission. And of course, there's a difference between the city we're in right now and maybe Europe, where someone needs to jump in a car and actually drive 50 kilometers to get to a bigger city. But the impact is huge. And the way people think about this is that it's actually the other way around, because they see all the packaging material and all the vans driving around doing the deliveries, and they feel it's less sustainable, while actually it's the other way around. And the reason for this is energy use, the traveling of all the individuals when they would drive to the city center or the store to buy a product. And the energy use is in the cars, in the emission, but it's also in the air conditioning use, in the heating systems that are being applied in those different stores. And there's not a solution for this immediately, but it is about the perception. How does this generation or anyone shopping with you as a retailer perceive how this looks like? And what are the consequences? It's something to think about. And retail is about redoing your business. This is the history of omnichannel in the last 15 years. It started a bit when I started looking into the omnichannel part. It started with stores. The multi-channel, which still is applicable for many retailers and brands and B2B and B2C, the multi-channel is offering all those touch points. But there's no connection. And maybe you're applying different pricing, a different tone of voice, a different imaging, maybe even different products. It's just you as a brand having different touch points. The next one is that you actually connect those systems on the back end. So you start integrating your master data, you start integrating your marketing communication, and these type of integrations brings you to the level of cross-channel. And then when you move into omni-channel, it all gets connected. There's a full track and trace visibility of the behavior of your customers, whether they're shopping, whether they're asking questions, or even in the area of marketing. And it's about the omnichannel centricity. So I showed you the previous slide. That's the phases of how do you organize yourself around omnichannel. This is about being omnichannel centric, having the customer on top of your mind every second of your work life. Most businesses, they start in the customer oriented. They are aware there is a customer. You want to make their life easy and good, and you make propositions for your customer. The second one is that you realize, hey, that customer is actually going through a journey, and we should document that type of journey. And if we have documented it, maybe we can make some changes because we suddenly understand the customer behavior when they walk in a store, browse in the app, online. And that's the approach of the journey-oriented. Then the customer-centric part is where you start organizing and make actually more changes based on that journey. You understand the journey, you understand where friction and pain points are, either for your employees or for the customer, and you start implementing improvements. That's where you start being centric about your customer. The experience-oriented part is where you start moving into a world where you create new value. You start applying new methodologies for documenting the processes, the journeys, and you actually start merging them, start aligning them. You see the dependencies between them. That's when you become experience-oriented. And the final stage is actually where any type of investment or change you're making as a company, it has two purposes, or at least one of them, and that's either make the life of your customer better and easier, or it's becoming better and easier for your employees. So all the investments you're making should be about, hey, what will this bring, deliver, create for my customer? What will this bring or create for my employee? And what is needed for it? And if it doesn't bring something valuable for them, why are we actually making this type of investment? And if you Google omnichannel, it's about in all things, in all places. And that's what we all know about the omnichannel. It's everywhere. And the question is, how do you start connecting this? Omnichannel payments is one of the topics because you have many flavors. You have the QR codes, the mobile solutions nowadays. The latest trend is that actually someone can pay at an iPhone. So I'm holding an iPhone as a business owner. And if you would need to pay me, you can actually just tap your credit card on my phone and you would have paid me. And those are the steps that are making a mobile approach and a very lean organization around the payments, especially in an omnichannel world, because maybe someone bought something online and they return it in a store and they already paid for it. How do you make sure that financially everything is streamlined within your organization for being able to make that return and giving your customer an instant refund, either maybe in cash or on their original payment method? Payments is a huge topic. I could talk a day about it, but it really depends on how do you organize yourself as a company and structure it. If you talk about digitalization and omnichannel, it's also new solutions and tools. And I have two quick examples. This one is from IKEA. They're selling carpets, but their section in the store of carpets is huge, which is causing a problem sometimes on the square meters being not available. So what they actually do is they use a projector to show you how big that very specific carpet is. So you have an idea, oh, this would fit in my room or not. And you have all the samples on the side showing you this is the fabric, this is how it looks. So instead of having hundreds of carpets full-sized available for you, they actually use a projector and can reduce the square meters that is needed in this very specific area in the store. Another example is where you have the actual living room in a store, but there's a screen next to it where you can click on each of the items that you actually see in the store, but you can change the color, you can swap the product, you can even change on the screen the layout, the square meters of that specific room, giving you the insights. Hey, this would actually look good in my own living room, in my own bedroom, because it always looks pretty when you see it in the store, but then you take it home and it doesn't fit, or the color doesn't match, or you're not completely sure. Creating those digital capabilities around the actual store experience improves the experience from an omni-channel perspective for your customers. And omnichannel is also about learning, evolving, being constantly changing your company and the processes to have better experiences for your customers. Because if you talk about omnichannel, the biggest challenge you face are the silos. They stop you from becoming better at what you do. Because you start an initiative and then you bump into the wall of a silo and it stops. And you need a holistic view on the approach. And I'll show that in the next one. If you flip the previous picture and you look on like it from above, this is how it looks. You have an e-commerce department, you have a retail, marketing, technology, logistics department, and everybody is competing about budget and sales results, and everybody feels they're very important, which is true, but therefore they're also very protective about the work they're doing, and the collaboration is not that much. The challenge is, how do you combine this? All these departments actually become one channel within your business. Because if you're one channel within your business, you're also becoming one company to the outside world. Your customer, they don't care about the omnichannel. They don't care about your website. They don't care about your store. They care about their experience. And one channel approach internally serves you to become one company and be the brand you want to be towards the outside world. And that's a puzzle. And I never have the answer because it takes a long assessment to get there. This is a sneak peek in how complex it can be. On the bottom line, it's all about the omnichannel and the total experience. And on the top line, you have the three pillars of omnichannel. Omnichannel is about sales and everything that's impacted by it. It's about service, so customer care, emails, phone, etc. And the latter, it's marketing. How do you create an omni-channel marketing experience in email communication on TikTok, Instagram, and what have you? You can make omni-channel strategies in each of the pillars. And if you're doing it really good, you're mixing it. And it's about start doing, because I showed you the CO2 emissions earlier. This is how we partially fix it in the Netherlands. We have the e-bikes, even with the little cart behind it. In the morning, these people pick up the items in the local stores for all the e-commerce orders placed a day earlier. They collect it, they bring it to a hub, and from the hub, they start delivering it again within the city during the evening. And this is how it's often being approached. A store is more than a sales point. It's your flagship store, it's customer care, it's customer service, and it starts acting as a supply chain fulfillment point for your local orders. What helps is the total experience and the digitalization. It's about clienteling. And clienteling is about understanding your customer, understand their shopping behavior, and how you can help them in their journey. It's about giving that personalized feedback, giving that personalized recommendation based on the products they already have bought with you. And the second one are the communities, where you showcase products, but not from the company point of view, but however from the point of view of the customer, how they use the products. I've seen examples where the customers were able to chat and talk and share experiences about the products of a very specific brand. And the brand used it as input for creating new products, because they leveraged the feedback and the knowledge from the community. So omnichannel, it's everything about your customer, about the feedback, listening to them, how you can become better. That's omnichannel. And it makes you stronger together. And together it's also internally. So work cross-departmental, remove those silos, have better processes, better understanding of the processes through the company, and that helps you to transform towards the outside, towards your customer. And as a summary for the presentation, be omnichannel centric, transcend the transaction, reduce those silos, organize based on the journeys, because those customer journeys go across the silos. And then lastly, design, try, and repeat. Just try it out, because you can't do omnichannel in 6 months or 12 months. It takes months of preparation, it takes months of implementation and transformations, but it is important that you start working on it. That's it. I hope you got a good sneak peek into omnichannel, because it's a lot, it's very broad, and it's not one tool, not one solution, not one process, but it's a little bit of everything. And combined, it creates that omnichannel experience for your employees and customers. Thank you.